got to tell you, I'm more than a little hesitant to face these locks. These are from Ted up in the frozen tundra of Canada. I mean, it's the dead of winter here on the East Coast. These are all challenge locks. So Ted's up there in some little cabin, frozen in, inventing new technologies to put into these. This is a little 5-pinner Schlage keyway. This is a 6-pinner Schlage keyway. And, oops, the last one is a little unusual. This is one of the high security cores from the Best brand. This is, he wrote here, the WB keyway, really nasty. We're not going to try that one today, but I will. You know, I'm a barely civilized simian. I do love shiny stuff, so I'm going to go with this one. We have a whole bunch of keys here. These two look the same, so I'm not sure. Maybe 2 of them are keyed the same. This one also looks the same. So we have 3 alike. So this was for the 5-pinner. Maybe these 2 are keyed alike, and then the last one is for the Best. So check my theory. Shiny key, shiny lock. Oh yeah, life doesn't get any better than that. All right, move that out of there. And let's see if we can get in it without that key. All right, for you new pickers, this Schlage keyway. Let me zoom in a little bit so you can see what I'm talking about here. Hopefully that will come into focus. There we go. All right, Schlage keyway, you have a couple of options. You can try to pick by wedging your pick off of this little ledge here, and that sometimes works, but if the pick or if the pin is cut very high, you sometimes can't get your pick around it to set the pins. If you have a very thin pick, like this 15 thousandths, which is one of my favorite ones, I'm able to go from the bottom of the keyway, and you see he barely fits past all that warding. So I can reach up to the absolute highest position. So this is really, for me, the best way to get access to a Schlage keyway. Of course, if you do that, you can't use bottom of the keyway. We're going to use top of the keyway. This is the thick tension wrench. Let me angle this. It's a little slop in there, but that's not unusual. This is not a Schlage branded lock, so who knows who made this thing. All right, I like to start looking for my first pin by applying very heavy tension, and then I just move down the stack until I find the binder, and he's the one that needs to be picked. And it feels like pin 5, so now I'll let off tension and then pick him. And I just gave him 1 click. From this point forward, you've got to use very light tension. You can't use that heavy tension trick. Okay, that was pin 2. Yeah, that heavy tension trick only works for the first pin. Wish it was that easy. That was pin 6, and I got a very slight turn on the core. I don't know if you saw it, but I felt it in my thumb. I'm on pin 2. Okay, now I got a good fault set. And when I get a deep fault set like that, that tells me I picked 2 pins. Pin 1, and he gave me that very serious fault set, so pin 1 is obviously a standard pin. So I have at least 1 standard pin, maybe 2, because I picked pin 6 first. Now now I know, because we got a serious fault set, I know we're hung up on a security pin. So it's probably a spool or something spool-like created in the frozen tundra of Canada. So if you have it hung up like this, I've gone down the stack twice, I'm looking for some kind of feedback that tells me that I'm on the right binding security pin. And I think pin 3, see it? It's moving just a little bit, and I mean a very little bit. Okay, I got to click on him, so I think he was a spool. Now I'm looking for another one that does the same thing. There's a counter rotation right there, pin 4, see that? And I got him. Okay, starting to back. Got a good fault set. Okay, again, I'm on pin 5. A little bit of counter rotation. Okay. I obviously am still hung up on some kind of security pin because I have the same fault set. And I'm on 3, counter rotation just a little bit. And these pins are very light. Let me check everybody first. All right, let's give it a shot. All right, I got a click, but I lost the false set. So I'm going to check my standard pin, and there it is. So the standard pin had popped down. So I call that a gatekeeper. I'm betting that this is full, probably one standard pin, and the rest are probably spools. And the spools are designed to drop in between picking the others. So I do have a key. I'm going to lock him back up. Let's go ahead and see what we got here. I'm going to show you some new followers that I got. They're really cool. They're made by a company called mul-t-lok. I was using the brass ones that I had made, but I was always getting confused because they were always the same color. I didn't know which one to grab. These mul-t-loks, as you'll see in a moment, are actually color-coded. Kind of cool. There we go. So the different diameters have different color codes. Large, the 550s, and then these are the 500. The blue one and green one are 500s, and then the purple one is for American and Master Lock. So kind of grab them at a glance on your bench. Let me zoom out. And we have a key, and it was that shiny one. We're going to turn that and find, it's either green or purple. These are the same diameter, but I'm looking for the end, and both of them have the end for the Schlage split actuator, and that's what this is. And beauteous. Let me set them down there. Take that out. Let's see what we got here. Standard, 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 standard. Oops, dropped him. Standard and standard. All that for standard pins? And no mods to the core? Man, what are you doing up there? There must be a lot of moose this time of year to be counting, because he didn't make any mods to that, that's for sure. Alright, let's see what we got upstairs. What kind of drivers we got. And if it's all standards, I'll never publish this video. I've got a standard? Well, we know we had one standard, so that's probably him. Yeah, here we go. Spool, very sharp little edges on it, and very shallow spool, which would explain the not too deep fault set. There's another one just like it. There's another one just like it. So this looks like all spools, guys. Another one. And the last one, he didn't even pop, there he is. He's a standard. So we had two standards, and we had 4 spools. Let me take a look in here. I'm going to drop these springs. I don't usually do this, but the resistance on those pins was so incredibly light. And there's why. First of all, they were not extending above the shear line, and I thought they might have been cut, but these are aluminum, believe it or not. Very light, very soft springs, so it makes it easy to overset when picking. I don't know if that was part of the plan, but I can assure you that's the way it felt. There's what you're looking at, all standards except 4 of the top pins. They're these really nice but shallow cut, come on baby, focus for me, shallow cut spools. So not too deep of a fault set. Anyway, everybody else, thanks for your time. I appreciate it. Up in the frozen tundra, Ted, I appreciate the lock. Stay safe, guys. Stay legal.